Success in battle results from the skillful application of firepower and maneuver. An intimate knowledge of weapons and the ability to apply their firepower is essential. The objective of this film is to show the firepower of the major weapons available on the battlefield. You should concentrate on their effect and match what is shown with your knowledge of their characteristics and tactical employment. The following types of firepower will be shown: infantry, armor, artillery, engineers, naval gun fire, and air power. First, you will see the main infantry weapons. Many of these are also used by other corps, principally for self-defense. These include small arms, machine guns, anti-armor, mortars, and explosive and flame weapons. The L1A1 self-loading rifle produces a high rate of semi-automatic fire to an effective battle range of 300 meters. It can also be employed to 600 meters against area targets using section fire. The penetration of its 7.62 millimeter round is quite substantial. The 5.56 millimeter M16 rifle has a battle range of 300 meters. It can also produce automatic fire. Compare the effect of its round at the top of the drum to that of the 7.62 at the bottom. Snipers are equipped with the 7.62 millimeter Parker Hale rifle and normally operate in pairs, with one carrying an automatic weapon fitted with a night sight. Prime targets for snipers are enemy officers and NCOs, signalers, weapon crews, and AFV commanders. The sniper can kill with one shot to 600 meters and provide accurate harassing fire out to 1,000 meters. Coupled with the adverse effect of his presence on enemy morale, the sniper's fire is valuable. This target was hit at 600 meters. The L4A4 Bren gun can produce single shots and bursts at a cyclic rate of fire of 550 rounds per minute to a range of 500 meters. The M60 general purpose machine gun has a battle range of 550 meters when fired from the bipod. Fed by a disintegrating linked belt, the M60 has a cyclic rate of fire of 550 rounds per minute. Using a tripod and C2 sight unit, the M60 may also be used in the sustained fire role. This permits effective fire to 2,000 meters and harassing fire to 3,000. Targets may be registered and later engaged during darkness, obscuration, or behind obstacles without the need to see the target. A section of 2 SFMGs can provide almost continuous fire on a target. An extra barrel is used to prevent overheating and to allow the gun to operate indefinitely during prolonged firing. The L7A2 general service machine gun has similar characteristics to the M60. It is primarily a sustained fire machine gun, but it may also be fired from the bipod. The maximum effect of the machine gun is obtained by skillful sighting to take advantage of its high volume of fire and beaten zone. Frontal fire such as this is sometimes necessary, but it is best to sight guns to fire along the length of the target, so that the maximum numbers of assaulting troops are forced to pass through the continuous fire. This is known as enfilade fire. Ideally, guns should be able to fire in support of another. This is called mutual support. Plunging fire, such as this, is not as effective as grazing fire, which is shown here. Although primarily used to engage lightly protected ground targets, machine guns can be used against low-flying aircraft. When the characteristics of machine guns are used to best effect, their firepower is the mainstay of the infantry battle. The first of two short-range anti-armor weapons is the F1 66mm L1A2. This weapon fires a high-explosive anti-tank or heat round from a preloaded tube. It is effective against light armored vehicles, the sides and rear of tanks, and other hard targets, such as this bunker. It is accurate up to 200 meters. The second weapon is the 84mm L14A1 Carl Gustav. Its heat round will penetrate 400 millimeters of armor at ranges of 450 meters for moving AFV and 550 meters for stationary targets. A rocket-assisted projectile extends the ranges to 500 and 700 meters respectively. The heat round is particularly devastating against bunkers. This weapon also fires high explosive and smoke rounds to 1,000 meters and illumination to 1,500 meters. The first of two medium-range anti-armor weapons is the M40A1 Recoilless Rifle. It consists of a 106mm main armament and a 50 caliber spotting rifle on top. It is fired from the vehicle or from the ground and is accurate to 750 and 1,000 meters against moving and stationary targets respectively. Its sight unit permits engagement of area targets to 2,000 meters. The heat round, employing the hollow charge effect, will defeat all known armor, causing heavy damage inside the target. The high-explosive plastic tracer round, which uses the squash head principle, is equally destructive. The MILAN is a medium-range anti-tank wire-guided weapon. Its 103mm heat warhead is equally effective against both armored and other hard targets. The operator merely has to keep the crosshairs of the sight on the target until impact. The MILAN missile arms 20 meters after launching, but has a minimum range of 400 meters and is extremely accurate out to 2,000 meters. Its short time of flight and ease of use permit rapid engagements. The F2 81mm Mortar provides infantry battalions with their own indirect fire support. The minimum fire unit comprises two weapons, but it's more usual for the mortars to be employed as a platoon of 6. The mortar is man-portable, but it's usually carried by vehicle, helicopter, or mounted in the M25A1 mortar carrier. The mortar fires several types of ammunition. The primary round is the high explosive. It can also be used in the airburst role, which is most effective against unprotected targets such as troops in the open. A pattern known as the belt of fire is formed when the rounds land. This varies with the charge used. Firing on maximum charge, a platoon produces a belt of fire 85 meters by 140 meters. Adjustment of the HE round fuse to delay allows the round to penetrate the ground before exploding. This is effective against dug-in positions. A proximity round, which produces an airburst from 1 to 4 meters above the ground, is used against troops or vehicles in the open. A very high rate of fire is possible for a short period. The high trajectory allows engagements of targets in dead ground and fire from behind high cover. Smoke screens may be generated by using the white phosphorus round. In favorable weather conditions, this type of smoke screen is easily maintained once established. The incendiary effect of the white phosphorus round can also be put to good use. An illumination round is fired to 2100 or 3100 meters, depending on the make of ammunition, to light up a grid square for 75 seconds. Hand grenades include the M26 High Explosive, smoke, and the M34 White phosphorus. The incendiary effect of the M34 is extremely useful in clearing tunnels, fortified positions, and troops in the open. Grenades can also be launched from the SLR for increased range. The 40mm M2O3 Grenade launcher provides additional firepower to the rifle section. It fires high explosive, which has a casualty radius of 5 meters. A high explosive dual-purpose round can be used with great effect to 150 meters against hard targets such as bunkers and light armor, and to 400 meters against area targets. Illumination rounds are also available. Wire is not an obstacle to the Bangalore torpedo. It consists of lengths of explosive-filled sections and is used to blast a path through the wire. Sections are placed, added to as required until the obstacle is penetrated, and the device is then fired. Several gaps should be created at the same time to allow assaulting troops to pass through quickly. The M18A1 Claymore is a directional fragmentation mine primarily designed for use against personnel. On firing, 700 steel balls are propelled forward. Note the lethal zone of one mine. Claymores can also be fired in banks and are particularly effective in defense and in ambushing. The flamethrower is used against a variety of targets, such as strong points. The normal fuel being fired here burns at 760 degrees centigrade and travels 20 meters, whereas with thickened fuel, the range is extended to 50 meters. The lower burning temperature of 450 degrees means that most of the thickened fuel makes it to the target and burns there. Armoured firepower is primarily generated by the main battle tanks of the Tank Regiment, medium and light reconnaissance vehicles of the Reconnaissance Regiment, and the M113s from the APC Regiment. The Leopard AS-1 main battle tank is fitted with a sophisticated fire control system. This provides a very high first-round hit probability. The 105mm high-velocity main gun fires several types of ammunition, and the tank carries 59 rounds. Super-velocity armor-piercing ammunition achieves penetration through kinetic energy out to 2,500 meters. The projectile comprises a very hard penetrator, normally made from tungsten carbide. When fired, it discards a light sabot and proceeds at a muzzle velocity of about 1.5 kilometers per second on a very flat trajectory. High explosive squash head, or HESH, is a chemical round which is used against bunkers, light vehicles, and other fortifications to a range of 1,200 meters. Using this round, the main battle tank can also provide accurate indirect fire to a range of 8,000 meters. This sequence shows the damage caused by a Hesh round to armor equivalent to the Soviet BMP. Against thicker armor, such as this tank, the round, using the squash head principle, detonates on the outside, sending severe shock waves through the armor, causing the inside wall to detach and fragment. These are the typical effects suffered by personnel inside an armored vehicle which has been hit by a Hesh round. Ammunition and fuel inside an enemy AFB normally detonates on being hit. White phosphorus ammunition is used to produce smoke screens up to 8,000 meters. Smoke from 8 turret-mounted discharges is also available for immediate local protection. The anti-personnel round is devastating against personnel or soft-skin vehicles. The round contains a large number of small metal darts called flechettes. The fuse may be set for muzzle action or at any range to a maximum of 4,400 meters. Secondary armaments on the tank include 2 MG3 7.62mm machine guns, 1 coaxial to the main gun, and 1 mounted on the turret. The coaxial machine gun produces a very high rate of accurate fire at soft targets to 1,500 meters. The machine gun on the turret provides local protection for the tank, particularly against aircraft. It can fire 1,100 rounds per minute. Tracer is included to assist with adjustment of strike. The medium reconnaissance vehicle provides the main firepower of the reconnaissance troop. It is fitted with passive night vision equipment and, armed with a 76mm gun, is accurate to 1,000 meters. The MRV can fire HE up to 2,200 meters using direct fire procedures and 6,600 meters when using indirect fire methods. 50 main gun rounds, which also include Hesh, anti-personnel and smoke, are carried. The Hesh round is accurate to 1,600 meters. It may also be fired against troops and soft targets up to 6,100 meters using indirect fire techniques. Smoke screens may be generated by the base ejection smoke round. The MRV's 30 caliber coaxial machine gun produces a high volume of accurate fire to 1,500 meters. A second 30 cal is also available for use by the turret crew. The light reconnaissance vehicles in the troop have either 2 30 caliber or a 30-50 caliber machine gun combination. A large amount of ammunition is carried for these weapons. The LRV will also carry a long-range anti-armor weapon on operations. The M113 Armoured Personnel Carrier is armed with the same machine gun combination, but does not carry the long-range anti-armor weapon. The remainder of the M113 family are also equipped with a machine gun for local defense. Armored firepower is most effective when used in conjunction with maneuver and the shock effect of massed armour. The categories of artillery firepower are surface-to-surface and surface-to-air. Surface-to-surface artillery includes field and medium guns. The first of the field guns is the 105mm M2A2 Howitzer. The 6 guns of the field battery have a planning range of 9,900 meters and can engage targets using both low angle and a high angle trajectory from behind cover or when firing over obstructions. High explosive, quick ammunition is used in the standard fire mission. It is fused for instantaneous detonation on impact. Its destructive power comes from shell fragments and blast, which are effective against troops in the open or in lightly protected positions. The size of a field battery concentration is 150 by 150 meters. For a field regiment, the area increases to 250 by 250 meters.
Fire!
Targets which are well protected, such as defenses with overhead protection, are best engaged by delay ammunition. The HE round is set to detonate a fraction of a second after impact. This allows the projectile to penetrate to some extent before detonating, causing cratering and destruction. The splinter effect, however, is limited. HE, fused for airburst, produces a downward fragmentation pattern. This type of round is very successful against troops in the open or without OHP, in armoured vehicles which are not closed down, and against soft-skinned vehicles. Smoke can be used to blind the enemy or screen the actions of friendly troops. A battery smoke mission can cover a much larger area than a battery HE engagement. The use of smoke must be carefully planned, as it can be a two-edged weapon. Although it will deny enemy observation, it will not prevent the operation of weapons. This mission is being fired with a white phosphorus round. It bursts on impact, producing a dense column of smoke for a short time only. This round also has an incendiary effect. As weather conditions affect the persistency of smoke, a high and sustained rate of fire may be necessary to maintain the screen in less favorable conditions. If neutralization of the target is also required, it should be engaged with HE as well. The second type of smoke available is from the base ejection round, which is the normal type used for screens. It is a carrier shell fitted with a fuse set to burst in the air. 3 smoke canisters are ejected from the base of the round and ignite. After the first rounds detonate, it usually takes 2 minutes for the screen to become effective. The 105mm Howitzer also fires illumination ammunition and can defend itself from ground attack with anti-personnel and anti-armor rounds using direct fire. A lighter gun on issue to units operating on light scales is the 105mm L5 Pack Howitzer, which can fire the same ammunition to a planning range of 9,000 meters. Whilst field artillery provides organic close support to the infantry divisions, medium guns are available to supplement that fire by engaging targets at greater ranges and by providing heavier and special munitions fire. The 155mm M198 Howitzer fires a 37-kilogram round to a planning range of 21,600 meters and has a maximum range of 30,000 meters with rocket-assisted projectiles. Compared to the field gun projectile, the larger shell causes much greater damage to targets, such as heavily fortified positions and armored vehicles. The medium battery will produce a concentration of 200 by 200 meters. While a regiment will cover an area 300 meters square and with much greater weight of fire. Ammunition types include HE, smoke, and illumination. The M198 Howitzer can also fire all other 155mm projectiles used by Allied nations. These include special munitions, such as the Copperhead terminally guided anti-armor projectile, and the family of scatterable mine projectiles. Surface-to-air defense is provided by two missile systems. The RBS-70 Ray Rider system is used for very low-level air defense. Although it can be fired by one man, it requires 3 men to carry the stand, sight unit, and missile. The system can be made ready to fire in a very short time, as demonstrated by this Swedish crew. This weapon is equally effective against helicopters, which represent a growing threat on the battlefield, and ground attack aircraft. The missile has a range of 5 kilometers and a ceiling of 3 kilometers, reaching a speed of Mach 1.7. It is guided through an unjammable corridor of invisible laser light generated by the sight. The operator merely keeps the center of the crosshairs in his optics on the target. The missile has an HE warhead which functions on impact or through a proximity fuse. Rapier is used for low-level air defense. The launcher unit is normally fitted with 4 missiles, whose 4-kilogram HE warheads detonate on impact. An optical tracker and a selector engagement zone are deployed close to the launcher. The missile has a range of 7 kilometers and a ceiling of 3 kilometers, and reaches a speed of Mach 2.1. The operator tracks the target using a joystick enclosed in the tracker. When fitted with the blind fire radar system, Rapier has an all-weather and night engagement capability. With this, the target is automatically tracked. Engineer firepower is mainly provided through the use of explosives in demolitions, cratering, and booby traps, or through the laying and clearing of mines. To be effective, all obstacles must be covered by observation and fire. Stores involved and time requirements demand that the obstacle plan be prepared centrally and well in advance. Enemy mobility may be inhibited with demolitions ranging from minor destructive tasks, such as this, to this. Charges are prepared and placed to achieve the required result. This would normally be a reserve demolition and would require some time to complete. Once fired, the result is in no doubt. Engineers may also be used to place or clear booby traps using a variety of means. Cratering is carried out using explosives to deny enemy use of roads or runways, or to assist in the rapid construction of defensive works, such as weapon pits and command posts. Mines are used to impede the enemy's movement and cause maximum damage. They may be used singly or in clusters to produce anti-personnel, anti-armor, or mixed minefields. Mine laying is strictly controlled and recorded. This is the M14 Anti Personnel Blast Mine. Designed for easy and speedy laying, it's activated by foot pressure and contains sufficient explosive to injure the victim seriously. The M16 is an anti-personnel mine designed to create casualties both to the person who stands on it and others in the vicinity. When activated, a small charge launches the mine 1 meter into the air, where the main charge detonates, sending shrapnel up to 30 meters in all directions. This mine can also be activated by tripwire. The Mark V is intended for use against armor. It will destroy soft vehicles and light armored vehicles, but can only be relied on to cut the tracks of tanks, which must then be destroyed by other weapons. Engineer firepower available to breach enemy minefields includes the Giant and Baby Viper. These devices are explosive-filled tubes attached to a rocket motor. They're fired across the minefield. On detonation, the Baby Viper can clear a path about 30 centimeters wide, whereas the Giant Viper clears a lane of sufficient width for an AFV to pass. Naval gun fire may be used when in range. It is normally controlled through a dedicated naval ground or air spot net by an artillery forward observer or a RAAF forward air controller. The Adams-class guided missile destroyers are equipped with two 5-inch rapid-fire guns. These guns have a maximum range of 22,000 meters and a rate of fire of 35 rounds per minute. This weight of fire is both intensive and very accurate. The River Class destroyer escorts have two 4.5-inch guns similar to those seen firing here. Together they can fire 32 rounds per minute up to 19,000 meters. The FFG destroyers each have a 76mm quick-firing gun which can fire up to 80 rounds per minute to 16,000 meters. Aerial firepower includes Army Aviation, light and heavy fire teams, and fighter ground attack. The Pilatus Porter aircraft, operated by Army Aviation, may be fitted with two pods of 2.75-inch rockets, which are particularly useful against convoys and area targets. However, as the Porter is not primarily designed for this use, such firepower will not always be available. RAAF Iroquois helicopters may be configured to carry a variety of weapons. Two such gunships comprise a light fire team, while three operate as a heavy fire team. Each aircraft is fitted with two fixed 7.62mm miniguns, two pods of 2.75-inch rockets, and four M60 machine guns set in pairs and operated by side gunners. The two miniguns have a cyclic rate of fire of 4,000 rounds per minute. With 9,000 rounds on board, the aircraft is able to loiter on call in the area of the target. A large volume of suppressive fire can be brought down very close to friendly troops if required. 7 2.75-inch HE rockets may be fired from each pod during a single pass, or as required. The aircraft normally breaks off attack between 300 and 1,000 meters from the target. The side gunners provide fire onto the target as the helicopter breaks away from the forward firing part. When fighter ground attack aircraft are employed, the strike is normally controlled by a forward air controller. Both the Mirage and FA-18 Hornet provide heavy and accurate support in the fighter ground attack role. The Mirage normally carries 4 500-pound bombs, but it can carry 6, while the Hornet, with its present fit, can carry up to 10 500-pounders or 5 2,000-pound bombs. They are normally released in one pass, but may be dropped 2 at a time, such as these high-drag bombs. The fins fold out and retard the speed of the bombs, allowing the aircraft to clear the target before they detonate. Both aircraft can deliver laser-guided bombs from high or low altitude. The target is designated by laser, and the reflections are detected by the bomb's guidance unit. Watch the bombs home with deadly accuracy on the 2 white targets on your left. The 240 rounds of 30mm cannon ammunition on board the Mirage can be delivered with great effect on pinpoint targets and linear targets. The Hornet, armed with a 20mm Gatling gun, firing either 4,000 or 6,000 rounds per minute, provides a similar type of strafing support. This damage was caused by a 2,000-pounder. Other munitions, such as napalm and cluster bomb units, may be employed. The F111C fighter bomber can also support the land battle. It normally carries 24 500-pound bombs, but can carry 48. It may also carry 4 2,000-pounders. During this pass, high-drag bombs are being dropped. Note the tail fins deploying and the pattern of strike on the ground. Here, low-drag bombs are being used. These are more effective against hard targets as their greater speed adds to the destructive effect of their impact. The F-111 has an all-weather capability, and by using its onboard attack radar, can support ground troops without the pilot having to actually see the target. Although not shown here, the PAVE-TAC system designates the target by laser. As the LGB's home, the beam automatically tracks the target as the aircraft maneuvers. A clear understanding of weapon characteristics and the effects of their munitions is vital to their successful employment. Detailed knowledge of their advantages, disadvantages, and tactical employment is also essential if you are to use this firepower successfully.